Hi, my name is Darren Joseph from HTJ.tax, and we're the team that seeks to demystify that sometimes confusing world of international tax. And today we have the honor and privilege of speaking with Ravi. Ravi, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I'm Ravindran Narayanasamy. You can call me Ravi from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. I'm in charge of the tax department from Raki Siastan Ramanan. I've been in this line more than 15 years, I can say, mostly specialized in tax.
Great. And thanks for sharing a copy of the book. It was from the Chartered Institute of Tax as well as the Institute of Certified Public Accountants in Malaysia. Thank you very much. So let's talk about one of the more exciting spaces, at least for us internationally, when it comes to Malaysia, which is Labuan. How is Labuan going? Is it still popular? I remember when it started originally, it was 0%, then it went up to 3%. What is it looking like? Is it still a popular option, at least within your area of practice, from what you're aware of?
Labuan is still one of the favorite destinations for the investors. Still because the tax rate is still attractive, you see. Okay, the reason changes happen is on the substance requirement because last time a lot of companies, they incorporate just as shell companies. There's no actual operation there. On papers only the company is registered, but there's no office. And then they don't see any economy movement in Labuan. You see, a lot of companies in Labuan, but the economy is like standstill. Not much improvement. A lot of corporate companies, company secretaries, agents are there to cater this rather than the company's real operation going on. That they're using this as to avoiding paying tax, can say, and they are not contributing to the development of the Labuan. So technically, what they did is they come as a substance and they say the minimum substance, if not mistaken, is for investment holding company. They say you must have an operation of annual operation of 50K. Not mistaken, then you must have at least 2 staff located in Labuan. You must rent the office, of course. You must have an operation office there. So when you comply to this substance, then only the tax rate of 3% will apply. Okay. Then if you do not comply to this substance, then the tax rate 24% will apply. Okay. What is beauty of this is before the changes happen. If you don't comply with the 3%, you are automatically out of Labuan tax. You automatically fall to income tax. Then forever you will be sitting under income tax. Then you have to pay 24%. But after the changes come, there was a flexibility saying that you can be this year, you can be complying to the Labuan conditions that you apply 3% tax. Next year, maybe for some reason you couldn't apply, you couldn't go, and some of the condition you couldn't comply, then you will fall for 24% tax. Then the third year, you fall back to the condition again, you fulfill, you go back to 3%. That means it depends whether you're fulfilling. So it depends every year your tax returns. Secondly, your tax is, the 3% tax is tax based on your net profit. That means whatever expenses, your depreciation, whatever expenses you have, everything, most of it you can claim. Because compared to the income tax over here, you take the net profit, you add back. There are few items that are not allowed for tax deduction, like depreciation, there's entertainment, there's staff welfare that are not related to. Then you have to look at the expenses that is considered as capital expenditure, CapEx, initial expenses. We have few laws here to follow the Income Tax Act before you arrive at the tax payable figure. So end of the day, sometimes you can find the company as a loss position, net loss before tax, but ended up paying tax because of this calculation. So the beauty of Labuan is you take it as a net profit. From the net profit, you know already how much your tax. There's no one or two way around. It's straightforward. If you're making a loss, means you fulfill the condition, you're making the loss, there's no tax. Technically loss, there's no tax in that year. You're not fulfilling the condition, also still there's no tax, technically. Because the tax, they say, is based on the net profit.
Right. But then, you start off saying, well, one of the big changes over the year when it comes to Labuan has been the imposition of economic substance. It's a tiny island, right? It's like 10% or so the size of where I'm in Singapore. So when you say you need to have 2 staff and you need to have office space or whatever, is there enough resource? Are there enough people? Is there enough commercial space to make it viable for everyone who would want to do business there? Or using the structure?
Yes, it is viable. You see, there are a lot of working office there technically. You don't have to go and rent a shop lot or office unit full to rent out. There are a lot of companies renting out offices, small offices.
Virtual offices.
You can call it virtual office, but they have an office. There's just a small space there. You just enough for 1 or 2 person to sit. Now, one, I think before COVID, I've been there just wants to see around and just shop. I see a lot of companies offering this because I myself went to visit around three buildings that offers this. It depends from the small one people sitting room to a maximum 10 people sitting room. Then you have a separate meeting room. All this is based on your what is your requirement. So you have.
And what about the substance in terms of headcount? Is it possible for one person to be partly connected to one company and then partly to another? So, in other words, they can share the economic substance, or is it like really strict that one person has to be dedicated to a single company?
One person had to be dedicated to a single company.
Okay, there can't be multiple companies. Okay,
it can't be because the EA you have the EA form annual return to the taxpayer for the individual who are working. So when the EA form comes, it will say that this person is working under this company. Although you can say in practical he will be working for 5 companies, but end of the day in papers you must report he is under one company's payroll.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, interesting to know. Pretty strict regime. Ravi, thank you for your time, sharing your expertise from on the other side of the causeway in Malaysia to me here in Singapore. If someone wanted to find you, what's the best way to contact you, Ravi?
They can always call us. I think you can find our contact in most Roland Asia Pacific website. You can call me. We are the loop. Our company name is Rocky CS Tan and Ramadan. My contact is there. If you need any tax advice or any tax assistance in Malaysia, you can always approach us. Myself, we have an audit partners, Mr. Hari Chandran. Then we have our audit senior partner also, Mr. Venkataramanan. They are also in the boat. You can contact any of us if you have any issue.
Thank you for your time. We'll see you next time.